KOTV 6 Tulsa. This is the News on 6, the noon edition, with Terry Hood and meteorologist Mike Anderson.
It's not tornadoes. This time, lightning leaves its mark on green country. A Tahlequah landmark is nearly destroyed, but its inhabitants survive. It's the smell at this Tulsa plant that has some surrounding residents worried. And remember the controversy on prayer during school ceremonies? Some schools are saying it's okay to pray. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Terry Hood. Our top story today, another blow from Mother Nature. A fire sparked by lightning spreads through a Tahlequah landmark. The lightning hit a grain elevator at the Tahlequah Mill and Elevator Company around midnight last night. The blaze destroyed a 5-story grain elevator and the grain inside it. Tahlequah Assistant Fire Chief Bob Adrian says 75 firefighters on the scene were able to save the surrounding warehouse, but damage was done.
And there's a considerable damage when you consider this building was built before the 1900s, so it's a very old structure. And when lightning hit it, it caught a major landmark for this area.
A firefighter was hurt while fighting the fire, but his injury isn't serious. Here's another survivor, scared obviously, but okay. And we may not be out of the woods yet as far as severe weather is concerned. Rick Wells joins us now with the latest.
Well, we're in better shape than we were last night, though. Let's take a look at Doppler 6. And this is a series of pictures from earlier this morning, and you can see the rain moving steadily on to the southeast. And Tulsa is, in fact, partly sunny in some areas now. They got almost 3 inches of rain in Tahlequah. We got about 3/4 of an inch at the airport, a little more than that here downtown, but it's all going away, and there is much, much better news on the forecast horizon. We'll have that later on.
Great. We will look forward to it. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks.
A young boy clings to life today after a traffic accident killed his 16-year-old mother. OHP trooper Steve Kirby says Deborah York's car ran off a road in Rogers County. When she tried to swerve back, she collided head-on with a tractor-trailer. York's 8-month-old son, Skylar, was in a car seat. He's in critical condition at a Tulsa hospital. The truck driver is in good condition. People in West Tulsa have been complaining about a strange smell for months. After a 7-week investigation, Tulsa's health department traced the mysterious stench to the Sun Company refinery. Later today, the health department will discuss its findings. Neighbors around the refinery complain the air smells like rotten eggs. The health department spokesman says he doesn't know if the odor is really a health hazard. Sun manager Tom McCullough says his company is looking at ways to stop the stench, but he says any changes will have to be cost-effective. After a major change at Tulsa's McDonnell Douglas plant yesterday, workers wait to hear what the president has to say. 232 employees will lose their jobs this time around, leaving 1,600 others wondering if they'll be next. A company spokesman says the layoffs are a result of too few orders for the military's F-15 and some commercial aircraft.
When we started these cuts, I had seniority on about 52 people. I now have seniority on about 15. If we have another one, I'll probably go.
But workers like Wagenblatt may not go if President Bush approves the sale of 72 F-15 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. He's expected to make that announcement tomorrow. The Oklahoma College Board of Regents is checking out a report of wrongdoing at a Tulsa college. An audit says a former office manager at the University of Oklahoma College of Medicine in Tulsa forged checks, falsified expense reports, and took petty cash. In today's follow-up file, 3 Oklahoma congressmen who wrote hot checks are in the clear. The Justice Department cleared Mike Siner, Bill Brewster, and Glenn English of any criminal wrongdoing in the House banking scandal yesterday. The congressmen say they've received hand-delivered letters from the department. No word on Congressman Mickey Edwards and Dave McCurdy. Congressman Jim Inhofe didn't use the House bank. Congressman Siner takes on challenger Drew Edmondson in their only televised debate tonight. It happens live here on Channel 6 at 9 o'clock. The runoff election for the 2nd District congressional seat is next Tuesday. Some schools will conduct prayers before sporting events, despite a recent Supreme Court ruling that banned prayer at public school ceremonies. Many Oklahoma high schools stopped prayers before football games after the state superintendent warned it could lead to a lawsuit. But the University of Oklahoma will still conduct prayers before Sooner football games. The school's attorney says it's okay. The Sooners' season opener is Saturday against Arkansas State. Attorneys for an OU graduate are expected to announce a lawsuit today against singer Kenny Rogers and a Dallas stockbroker. The suit alleges Rogers propositioned the woman for sex and that both men inflicted emotional distress. The attorneys will hold a news conference in Oklahoma City. Coming up next, the latest on Campaign 92. The candidates battle it out over the economy. Later, on the lighter side, Dan Quayle talks TV.
Television.
Murphy Brown on Channel 5. Not.
Well.
And this royal couple keeps the Brits talking and Americans too. We'll have the latest on Charles and Di.
Never thought that I'd leave that big old house. All those memories, children growing up, cooking and baking, years of doing laundry, mowing grass, washing windows, scrubbing floors. No, I never thought I'd leave it, but I did. I moved to Southern Hills Retirement Apartments, and am I glad.
Southern Hills Retirement Apartments, Tulsa's hallmark of quality.
Edna and Earl back on the air for Furniture Factory Outlet.
Take a good look at the furniture in your room. Looking kind of tired, isn't it? Well, you need to reiterate your home with new furniture from Furniture Rectory Outlet.
Only at Furniture Factory Outlet will you find top quality name brands and the lowest prices in town.
So wake up and smell the roses and head to Furniture Factory Omelette. Because like I always say, a penny saved is worth two in the bush.
Earl, we need to have you checked.
Hello. I'd like to talk to you about an invisible problem. The invisible bacteria that cause nasty denture odor. Fortunately, antibacterial Effident not only cleans the stains you can see, it kills the odor-causing bacteria you can't for clean, fresh dentures. So while the problem may be invisible, the solution is clearly evident. Darling, we're on TV.
Antibacterial Effident cleans what you can see and what you can't.
Know where you could win thousands of dollars in a single evening?
Creek Nation Tulsa Bingo, right?
Where can you play for giant jackpots 7 days a week?
That's easy. Creek Nation Tulsa Bingo.
Where could you win more money today than most people make in a whole year?
Creek Nation Tulsa Bingo.
Where is Creek Nation Tulsa Bingo?
I'm not telling you. If I did, everybody would be there.
Campaign 92 news today, the president's promise on the economy. The campaign trail takes George Bush to Delaware. He's talking there tonight and on the major TV networks in a paid 5-minute ad this evening. In appearances yesterday, Bush said the country's been through what he called economic hell. But the president has reiterated his no new taxes promise and insisted again that the economy is poised for a strong recovery. The Clinton camp isn't impressed with the president's latest anti-tax promise. On NBC's Today Show, Clinton's communications director says you can't trust George Bush to keep his word. A little later in the newscast, we'll have some lighter campaign fare, including a call to Al Gore by a woman who wanted a date. The House is expected to vote on a family leave bill today, despite suggestions of a veto from President Bush. The measure requires companies with 50 or more employees to offer workers up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave to care for new babies or sick family members. President Bush vetoed a similar bill last year, saying the measure would be a burden to businesses and would cost jobs. The Senate is also busy today. It's working on a multi-billion-dollar aid package for victims of Hurricane Andrew and Typhoon Omar. Most of the aid is not controversial, but as Doug Tennell reports, that may not be the case when it comes to rebuilding Florida's Homestead Air Force Base.
One look at Homestead Air Force Base more than 2 weeks after Hurricane Andrew reveals the enormity of the task ahead if President Bush's promise to rebuild here is to be fulfilled. It looks like a war zone, but there were no casualties here. The only losses, bricks and mortar and a handful of planes that couldn't fly away to safety. The pledge to rebuild was renewed by Colin Powell, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as he visited the troops directing the recovery effort in the nearby town of Homestead. Experts from the Army Corps of Engineers are poring over the rubble at the air base, trying to see if anything can be salvaged. What used to be base housing is now a virtual ghost town. The nearly 4,000 men and women who lived here were evacuated before the storm hit. Most now have new Air Force assignments. For some, it was a second disaster. They had only recently arrived at Homestead after fleeing the Pinatubo volcano in the Philippines. There are new residents, though, in prefab air-conditioned tent cities, put up to house the air controllers and other support personnel who rushed here from other bases to coordinate the recovery airlift.
We've been deployed here to help Homestead get back on its feet. Right now, the mission is to clean up, assess, and from there we'll get instructions from our higher headquarters on the fate of Homestead Air Force Base.
Not everyone who has set up housekeeping here is from the Air Force. The Army has arrived in force. The conditions, no running water, only the scattered electric power supplied by generators, bring back memories.
Same as Saudi and Iraq, do the best we can.
So how does it compare to Desert Storm? How does it compare to being in Iraq?
There's really no comparison, because that was a combat zone. It may look like a combat zone, but it's not, you know.
The next most important combat for this base will take place in Congress, where the president's pledge to rebuild will likely face opposition from some lawmakers who would rather spend the money to save military facilities in their own home districts. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Homestead Air Force Base.
When you think about mushrooms, you probably think about something you can slide around on your plate. But this edible fungus tips the scales at 28 pounds and is 28 inches across. It was found in Mississippi. A biologist says it probably grew to this size in just 3 or 4 days. Mushrooms are not uncommon in the late summer after heavy rains in Mississippi. Yeah, that's a big mushroom.
It's a big plate. You know, if you're sliding that thing around. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, mushroom pizza instead of, well, it's a...
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we've had some rain around here. Probably see some mushrooms
probably
popping out.
Mushrooms popping out all over the place. The good news is what's going to happen this afternoon and through the weekend. So we'll be back to tell you that good news. Stick around.
Grow a beautiful lawn more resistant to drought. Plant Pennington, the better quality pen-coated seed, and fertilize with Pennington Lawn Food. You'll have a thicker, greener lawn for your whole family to enjoy. Count on Pennington quality, from lawn seed to brilliant country wildflower mixes, environment-friendly organic fertilizers, and Pennington insecticides, even natural bird feeds to attract songbirds. Insist on Pennington, the name you know and trust, because
everything under the sun grows better with Pennington.
Every 8-ounce bag of Kraft shredded mozzarella is made from 2 quarts of milk. How do they do that?
Well, 2 giants pour the milk into the cheese that it got so big that it exploded into little pieces.
Every 8-ounce bag of Kraft shredded mozzarella is made from 2 quarts of milk. That's why it always tastes better than imitation shreds, made with almost no milk at all. Kraft shredded mozzarella, for all the taste, all the time.
K-R-A-F-T. I love that.
Lancome Research announces new Neosome Plus perfected age treatment. Perfection in a daily defense against tomorrow's lines and wrinkles. Perfection in the renewed fight against the future signs of aging. New Neosome Plus perfected age treatment. Prevention.
Perfection.
Lancome Paris. Beauty Original. Your gift with any Lancome purchase of $17.50. Available at Dillard's.
Please release me, let me go.
This allergy season, free yourself of congestion, itchy eyes, sinus pain with Sinutab Sinus Allergy from the first name in sinus relief. Sinutab Sinus Allergy, relief for prisoners of sinus suffering.
Release me and let me live again.
Well, boy, what, 2 nights in a row of that crazy weather, and tonight, or last night, Tahlequah was the place that got it. Let's take a look at Doppler 6 radar now. We'll see how things have progressed through the morning. And basically, they have progressed away from us to the east and southeast. Heaviest rain now Here's Tallahena all the way over McAllister, and then on to Ada and on over toward Oklahoma City and Norman. All of that now moving away from us, and that's good news. Let's take a look, though, at the rainfall numbers, some of them anyway, from overnight. Here is Tahlequah. They got almost 3 inches of rain there, 3 inches down at Stigler, and as you can see, various amounts of rain around 1.3 inches over in Kansas, Oklahoma, up in Grove. A little over an inch, almost an inch and a half. We, as we said, I don't know, 7/10 of an inch of rain almost. We had 8/10 here downtown. So, you know, it's kind of, well, it wasn't bad here. It got bad east of here and southeast of here. Looking at current conditions out there, cloudy, 70 degrees, northerly winds at 6 miles per hour. That's bringing in the cooler air, drier air, and that's going to mean more sunshine for us this afternoon through the rest of the weekend. That's the good news. Looking at the numbers for today, early morning low of 62, 79 should do it for us this afternoon. We may get to 80, but not much warmer than that. The cooler air is going to keep the temperature down. 87 is normal. 105 back in 1936. Looking quickly at the satellite picture for noontime, there you see the clouds, and the cold front is almost through Oklahoma, almost down to the Red River. This is moisture kind of riding over the top of it, and that's why the rains have kind of calmed down, and they'll continue to do that through the rest of the afternoon. Temperatures at noon, there you see it. Oklahoma City's got a little rain shower. They're cooler than us. We're at 70. We're kind of the warm spot in Oklahoma. Everyone's going to get into the 80s today. Let's look at our forecast, and we'll tell you what's going to happen for the rest of the afternoon. Decreasing clouds today. That's the good news. We have been partly sunny already this morning, and we'll continue to improve as the afternoon rolls along. Cool temperatures, though. We got up to 92 yesterday, 91 the day before. We'll not get near that today. And then overnight tonight, we're going to have a very clear, mostly so anyway, but very cool night overnight tonight with northeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Watch out out in the outlying areas. Some folks are going to get down in the mid-50s to upper 50s, depending on where you live. Warm and sunny tomorrow with temperatures only in the mid-80s, and so with easterly winds, but lots of sunshine to dry us out and make us feel much better. And as we head into the weekend, I think you'll like that too. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday with temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 80s. We'll get pretty much the same story on Sunday with lots of sunshine, and Monday we'll be back closer to normal, 68 to 90 degrees, but no more rain, at least in the forecast for the next few days. So we get through a good weekend, a chance to dry out, a chance for the grass to grow, absorb all that, and really start shooting up again. Yeah, so we'll have to mow it again by Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So really not bad, but we had some serious weather for 2 nights, so it's time for a break and time for some sunshine.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rick.
You betcha.
Do you remember your favorite poems as a child? Verses by the greats such as Shel Silverstein and Robert Frost. Today, Lewis Meyer introduces us to a book that's combined all those well-loved poems. Here's Lewis.
If I were to offer you 572 children's poems, the best ever written, the ones that children are guaranteed to love, that would be a treasure. And I'm offering that to you today. This is my all-time favorite children's poetry book. It's called the Random House Book of Poetry for Children, and it's just that. And of the 572, here's the famous Robert Frost poem. You have old standbys, new ones, Shel Silverstein, all these people are here that the children love. But you remember this one, whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. And then it closes, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And here's just one more here, this little short one from Maurice Sendak. A woman said to me the other day, she was in the bookstore, and she said, I just love that little poem of chicken soup and rice. Here it is. In October, I'll be host to witches, goblins, and a ghost. I'll serve them chicken soup on toast. Whoopie once, whoopie twice, whoopie chicken soup with rice. Oh, they're all, and I've got to read you this one, my favorite. Said the little boy, sometimes I drop my spoon, and said the old man, I do that too. The little boy whispered, I wet my pants. I do that too, laughed the old man. Said the little boy, I often cry. The old man nodded, so do I. But worst of all, said the boy, it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me. And he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. I know what you mean, said the little old man. Shel Silverstein. A wonderful book of poetry, the best for children of all ages. The Random House Book of Poetry.
Thank you, Lewis. Up next, more campaign news with a twist. The vice president pitches for a show he bashed, and romance blossoms during an interview with vice presidential candidate Al Gore. We'll have details when we come back.
This is regular. This is better. This Bufferin is regular. For headaches, Anacin is better. Why better? Regular Bufferin has one ingredient. Anacin has two, a pain medicine plus a second ingredient that makes it work better. Get Anacin. Get better.
This is a place of rest or a place of torment when nighttime pain keeps you awake. Get help from a name you know. New aspirin-free Anacin PM with a powerful pain reliever plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. So you wake up feeling fresh.
You can do it.
Top quality paint at rock bottom prices. That's the True Test home decorating sale at True Value. Get Easy Care latex flat finish for just $9.88 a gallon. Then save $4 on the most popular stencil from Stencilese, their Ivy pattern for just $2.95. And that's just the start of the savings during the True Test home decorating sale.
You can do it with True Value.
Here in the Tulsa area, thousands of families have found a great place to save money on drugs, health and beauty aids, cosmetics, and cleaning supplies. Drug Mart, where you'll find more than 25,000 name brand items at deep discount prices 7 days a week. And the Drug Mart pharmacy has the area's most complete selection of generic drugs. Great selection, great pharmacy, deep discount prices every day. Drug Mart, 71st in Sheridan, 32nd in Yale, and in Owasso.
Ray and I happened to meet each other at a time when we were both perhaps ready for marriage, and it just happened.
As magical as it began, in a tragic instant, the charm fairy tale of Grace Kelly was over. Now, 10 years later, Entertainment Tonight looks at the life and loves of Princess Grace. From her children who have been badgered with mistakes and misfortunes, to the fans who still wonder what might have been. See 10 years of missing Princess Grace on Entertainment Tonight.
Thursday night at 6:30.
Los Angeles TV viewers may soon be seeing a lot of Dan Quayle on their screens, but this time he's not pushing family values or the Republican Party. He's the new pitch man for the show Murphy Brown.
What is your favorite television program?
Murphy Brown on Channel 5. Not.
Well, almost.
Quayle agreed to tape the promotional ads for the LA TV station after he appeared on their morning news show. Quayle criticized Murphy Brown earlier this year for the show's message about single parenting. Democratic vice presidential candidate Al Gore fell for a prank last night by none other than his wife, Tipper. Senator Gore was a guest on CNN's Larry King Live. During the viewer call-in, Gore received a call from a woman who admired his handsome looks and asked the senator out on a date.
No, he's not available. He's happily
That's the
married.
answer. I'm not available.
Not even for your wife?
Yeah, for my wife.
Who is this?
Hi, this is Tipper. I'm calling you from Asheville. You're doing great.
Oh, my Aha! You didn't recognize your wife's voice.
Tipper says she just wanted to let her husband know he was doing a fine job. Prince Charles and Princess Diana, who are in the middle of a royal controversy, made a public appearance together yesterday. The royal couple smiled, shook hands, and made small talk with a crowd in Nottingham. They made the trip together despite speculation about a possible breakup, and a book quoting Diana's friends who say the 12-year-old marriage is a loveless sham. Coming up next, a baby has a new home, a new family, and a new lease on life. We hear Hippie's story in a moment.
A recent university study confirms something that has millions of asthma sufferers breathing easier. Clinical tests showed Primatene tablets help keep asthma sufferers breathing freely for hours. Primatene tablets, with the asthma reliever doctors recommend.
My hemorrhoids hurt so much, I was afraid I needed surgery.
But my doctor said they weren't serious, and it's time I used Preparation H.
Preparation H helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues and often relieves pain, itching, and burning for hours. Doctor recommended Preparation H.
When you need dentures, remember Dentures and Dental Services. With 3 locations in the Tulsa area, there's one convenient to you. Dentures and Dental Services can fit you with handcrafted dentures that look like the real thing, custom designed to your features. You can have new dentures for as low as $185. Over 5,000 satisfied customers at Dentures and Dental Services in Glenpool, Catoosa, and in Tulsa at 43rd and Mingo. Call them today.
I believe she came to disappear. Others say it was a man. The monk who later speak of her face as radiant with volupte. There is no proper translation.
Trust me.
I trust only my senses. She embraced him forever.
A deluxe parfum, your gift with any volupte purchase exclusively at Dillard's.
There's a certain itch that's so private, most people will only discuss it with their doctor. Fortunately, now you can get new Anusol HC1 ointment. Over the counter, with the same prescription strength doctors have prescribed most.
Please release me. Let me.
This allergy season, free yourself of congestion, itchy eyes, sinus pain with Sinutab Sinus Allergy. Relief for prisoners of sinus suffering.
Recapping today's top story, lightning from last night's storm destroyed a major Tahlequah landmark. Lightning hit this grain elevator at the Tahlequah Mill and Elevator Company around midnight, sparking a fire. The fire gutted the 5-story building and burned the grain inside. Tahlequah Assistant Fire Chief Bob Adrian says 75 firefighters on the scene were able to save the surrounding warehouse. Coming up later on the news at 5 and 6, the ongoing debate over prayer at school events. We'll see what one radio station is doing. In the Channel 6 Checkup, we'll tell you how you can reduce the stress in your own body by learning self-massage. And Oklahoma Memories takes us back to the turn of the century with some truly amazing pictures. Join us at 5 and 6. And finally today, if you're thinking of adding a new member to your family, we have a suggestion. 4 months ago, a 3-day-old hippopotamus was found orphaned near a dried-up river in Zimbabwe, and the Warth family took her in. Hippie is now part of the family. She wanders around the house like an ordinary pet and follows family members like a puppy. And the Warths have decided to keep her. They're building a dam on their property. Hippie will join storks, wildebeest, warthogs, and other animals that now live on the farm.
Oh, nice rollover.
Cute little hippo, all for your very own.
We think about stray dogs and cats. I mean, how would you like to have this? Get this hippopotamus just walk into the yard.
I guess
Dad,
that's the
can
difference
I keep
between living in Oklahoma and Zimbabwe. You know, it's well, apparently it's the drought that is creating all the problems, and people like that family are taking in the animals on their farm. So it's really a great thing.
So that's good.
Yeah,
hope it works out.
Them. That's our time for today. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you back again at 5 and 6.